Hey, it's Nick. I wanted to come on here with a video because what I wanted to say I think is a little bit longer winded than just a 1,000 word post. And a few things happened over the past few weeks that kind of culminated in what I observed today while I was out grocery shopping after work. So I'll start with a quick story. So 2 weeks ago, a little over almost 2 weeks ago, was actually the first time I wore a face covering, a mask in public. And it was one, I was going to test out the mask I made myself out of a Trump Make America Great Again t-shirt. And I made it myself, and I wanted to test it in public somewhere before I really had to wear it. So I wore it to the same store I went to today, and it was fine. I just needed to adjust it a little bit. And then the next day, I went to get a haircut. So I went to my barber. It's already grown out a lot. It's kind of a mess today. But I wore it into the barber, and by the end or middle of my haircut, it just started falling off and getting in the way. So I took it off, and I kind of left it off for the rest of that time. So that there was no problem there. And then, but I did notice when I was walking through the store, I go to Target. I used to work there, fun fact. And it's easy. It's kind of a one-stop shop. You can get everything there, from food to clothes to cleaning products, whatever, house products. And I don't really like to shop, so that's kind of why I go there. And they've always treated me kind, and I liked working there, and I am invested in them long term. So I went there, and I will say, when I just walking from the car to the back of the store, doing whatever I need to do, I was way more winded, and I was sweating even in the air conditioning, and it was a little bit harder to breathe based on the face covering I made. And so I realized that I only need to wear this, or should wear this, when I really, really have to, or it's required to do something I really need to do. So that was kind of my first experience with the face covering. And fast forward about a week later, on my vacation last week, I went to the dentist, and as you know, you're supposed to wear the face covering through the building until you get to wherever your dentist office is, and then you take it off when you are ready to get your dental work done, whether it's cleaning or whatever. And when I got to the dentist, they checked my temperature after I had worn my mask from the car to the medical building, up the stairs and down the hall to their suite. Got in, they took my temperature, and they said I had a fever. I have no symptoms of anything, any sickness, whether it's flu, coronavirus, whatever. And I get in there, and they take my temperature with two different temperature checking devices, and they are off by a degree each, like one after the other, and they're both reading different temperatures. So I asked if I could take my mask off to kind of get the air conditioning on my face to kind of cool my temperature down, and that ended up working. So that was my kind of, I guess it would be my third time wearing the mask for longer than like a few seconds. I also wore it into a donut shop, I think a few days before that, but it wasn't long enough, and I wasn't moving to get to the point where I couldn't breathe, and I was sweating and feeling a little lightheaded. So that was kind of my experience with the mask so far, and that was the last time I wore one, was last Thursday. Yeah, last Thursday was the dentist, but a few days before that was the donut shop. Anyway, what I'm trying to get to is I have not worn a mask since, and today when I went to Target, I walked in, and this was the first time I'd actually been confronted by a Target team member about me not wearing a mask, and she pointed me to a place where I could buy them, and I told her I can't wear one. And to my surprise, she was actually like, okay, that's fine. And then I was like, can I just have a hand basket thingy? And she gave me a clean one, and that was it. And I never got told again that whole time, even though I saw a few team members across the way. But what I wanted to say, one, before I finish the story, which is something kind of alarming, but one, the whole narrative behind the face masks is to protect the vulnerable, which some agree and some disagree with. And there are a lot of exceptions to people having to wear a face covering, whether it's you are hard of hearing, I've heard is one of them, whether it's you have respiratory problems or an autoimmune disease or something that affects your ability to wear a mask and actually impedes on your health. But what I've noticed is I am the only one in these stores that doesn't have a mask on. I think I went to Home Depot on my vacation. I saw maybe 2 other people in the whole store that didn't have one on. And so this is kind of forcing me to question the whole narrative behind our population is really sick, because that's what we've been hearing a lot, is our population is so sick because we don't have enough health care, we don't have good health care, whatever it may be. If our population was so sick, wouldn't you think that more and more people would be exempt from the mask wearing mandate? And I've been seeing people of all ages wearing, I'm talking about really old people who can barely walk and appear to that we should probably be protecting them, meaning they shouldn't be going out and about, but of course it's their prerogative. And in my opinion, maybe shouldn't even be wearing a mask. So is that narrative really true? Are we really that sick of a population? Or is it that we are really uneducated in all aspects of things and that we don't do our own research on things? Because if we really are that sick, but also we're not sick enough to not be wearing a face covering, some things aren't adding up. And so I wanted to come on here and express that observation. And I want to end with a quick story of what I saw today, which was alarming. It's the first time I've seen this. I was in the self-checkout ready to go to the next open station, and there was 2 young guys checking out, and all of a sudden I see the one guy kind of like, when you test a friend and you kind of fall back to see if they'll catch you. It looked like that was happening, and then I realized the guy passed out for a few seconds. He didn't fall on his head or anything because his friend was luckily there to catch him, but I kind of looked over and I was kind of figuring out what the heck was going on because it happened so fast, and everyone kind of paused around him to make sure, was this real or not? And it appears, and they were done, so it appears the guy was okay. He got back up, his friend handed him water, and then they went outside. He walked out on his own, he didn't hit his head or anything, so it appeared to be fine. But it's the first time I've ever, really seen someone pass out in public. I think ever. I've seen people, older people fall or and try to help them up or whatever. They caught a door wrong and the door kind of opened on them and they couldn't kind of get out of the door. But I just thought this one was a little strange. And then when I walked back out, his friends were comforting him. He seemed to be okay. I didn't realize it was him sitting there until I kind of walked further away, and I'm kind of regretting that. I should have gone up to him and asked him if he was okay and kind of figure out what was going on, because you never know. With young kids, you don't know if they do drugs or whatever, or they're recreational on things, or they just are dehydrated, or I don't know. But my first instinct was, he should take that mask off because clearly something is going on with his head if he can't even stand up straight or if he's passing out. So I don't know if it was because of the mask, but it appears he was brought outside for fresh air and he took his face covering off. So I wanted to share those thoughts about face coverings because I've been really against them for a while, just because I don't feel like it's the government's role to tell me what to do with my body or what I should do or whatever. And if you really are that scared to go out or afraid to catch the virus, whether it's because for health reasons or you're afraid to pass it to a family member, then maybe you shouldn't be going out or interacting with that family member if they don't feel comfortable either. So I know I'm probably in the minority at this point on this because I'm clearly one of the only people who's not wearing one. And because of my experience with the face covering, as far as feeling lightheaded, getting really, really hot and sweaty on my face, I don't know if it's because I'm naturally a deep breather or I just consume more oxygen than normal people. I don't know. But it definitely affects me negatively to the point where I actually am kind of concerned for my health when I wear one. And at the end of the day, this Target actually did the right thing. And when I said I can't wear one, I wasn't lying. And also, it doesn't matter if I was lying or not. They can't ask you for your medical records or for your proof of a disability or proof of any negative impact of a mask because it's against the laws. It's against HIPAA and I believe ADA laws as well. So let me know what you think. Have you had any experiences like this where you've walked into some place without a mask and they've maybe asked you why you don't have one or prompted you to go buy one? Or have they asked for proof that you can't wear one? And also, have you seen any people share with you, or have you seen in person any side effects of wearing a mask with people? Because I have a feeling personally that we're going to see more and more people having negative side effects from mask wearing, and I don't know how it's going to be handled, because I have a feeling it's going to be handled where people are going to either sue or complain that they are forced to wear a mask that is actually negatively impacting their health. And I think it's going to be spun by people who are trying to protect themselves from any legal action because they're the ones that mandated mask wearing. I think they may turn this around on us eventually and say, well, you don't have to wear one, and it's not protected. I can just see it happening. So I'm going to leave this as proof that I think that is what is going to happen next. Is this is all going to be turned on us, and we're going to be left to fend for ourselves and figure this out. So I'll wrap up there. Thank you so much for listening to this. I know this was kind of a longer thing, but that's why I made a video. So I hope everyone's doing well. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you all in the comment section.